The Netherlands have joined Italy to be the second team to win all 3 of their games in the Euros. They win Group C itself with 9 points. Austria finished with 6 in second. Ukraine sit on 3 points in third, and they will be praying that they will have enough to get themselves into the knockout round as one of the third place teams. And then we see North Macedonia. Honestly, the fact that North Macedonia didn't absolutely get obliterated in any game and even got a goal out of it, most notably, of course, it was for their long-serving legend Pandev, who now has played 122 games and will retire in his international career. It was absolutely great to see, and honestly has to be considered a success and a positive for North Macedonia, even just to get to the tournament and to get here, not to lose a goal. They only lost 3-0 to the Dutch. You really can't be mad at that. You get a goal against Austria. It wasn't the most challenging or competitive group at the top, although Ukraine definitely did give the Netherlands a game. There's no doubt about it. They definitely gave them a scare. We're going to be talking about my thoughts on the group and what we have to look forward to now moving forward for the rest of the teams as we head into the knockout round. If you guys do enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe for more Euro and transfer news content across the summer. With that being said, let's get right into it. Starting with match day 1, we saw Austria beat Northern Macedonia in the game in which we did see Pandev score in the 28th minute. They tied it up 1-1. Austria won it late with good contributions by R16, who looked very good as he came in on a sub in this game and came up top, had a disallowed goal, and then Arnautovic had a goal on the 89th as well, who had some good and not good moments in the tournament, specifically in this game, not to do with his play on the pitch. Nonetheless, it was a good late win by Austria here. North Macedonia looked fairly competitive, and then they were in it. They were tied 1-1 until the 78th minute. They were right in for the par on the pace. They had 40% possession. They weren't completely outrun, but Austria were just a better team, and Gregershitz really just gave them a bit of life up top and really changed the game for them. Now, the Netherlands-Ukraine game was quite interesting. This looked like a game that the Netherlands had quite comfortably early on in the second half. They got goals from Wijnaldum and Weghorst in the 52nd and 59th minute. And it looked like the Dutch were going to take this one comfortably, but then Ukraine, with the double Ys, Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, who both have had absolutely brilliant tournaments, and full credit to them, especially if they don't move on. They definitely did their part. But they had a great run, a couple of goals in the 75th and the 79th to try and put some pressure on the Dutch, but it just wasn't enough at the end. Dumfries had such a brilliant game and probably should have had multiple goals in this game, but he finally finished off a header, a very brilliant header at that in the 85th minute, which was enough for the Dutch, and ultimately was the most they got pushed in any game throughout the tournament up to this point. And that was their only game without De Ligt as well, and they've looked much more comfortable at the back since then. Moving on to the Ukraine-Northern Macedonia game, we are now in matchup number 2. And again, there's another goal for Northern Macedonia. The fact that they got another goal in, both of some of their best players, Naliolski and Pandev, they both get goals after having played so many games for their country, is something you love to see. Again, the double Ys, Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk scored, and then 5 minutes of each other again, this time in the first half, putting Ukraine up comfortably 2-1. And they, again, were just the better side. But Macedonia, again, were right in there. 48% possession. They haven't been a team that would just completely sit back. Now, of course, a lot of their possession they've had in some of these games has been due to the fact that they've been down early. So some of the other teams have sat back a bit more defensive. Ukraine are not a team that likes to hold the ball either, as we saw, as we will talk about more in the match day 3 game against Austria. But as a game, again, like, Macedonia had 13 shots. They were in there. They got a goal. They were competitive, and full credit to them. But Ukraine picked up what was 3 points they definitely needed. And Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, as I said, have just been so brilliant for them throughout the tournament, and they continue to do so in match day 2. The Netherlands beat Austria 2-0 as well. In match day 2 was another goal from Dumfries. Dumfries has just been brilliant throughout the tournament and looks like he's probably going to leave now this summer. He has a 15 million release clause that is likely to be triggered, if not just bought for a lesser fee. And, I mean, it makes sense. Dumfries is just a quality player, whether you're playing him at right back or right wing back. He's just a quality player out there on the right-hand side, and it makes sense for him to finally make a move out of the Eredivisie. Talks that the likes of even Real Madrid might be interested in him, and that just speaks to his quality. Depay finished off a pen earlier in this game. Dumfries got his in the second half. Austria didn't really look overly threatened at any point in time in the game. Netherlands looked fairly comfortable with De Ligt back at the back line. And that was a big 3 points for the Netherlands, and it put Austria in a scenario where they had to beat or draw against Ukraine today to secure second place, and that they did. Baumgartner had a collision early on, had what looked to be an apparent head injury, possibly a concussion of sorts. Someone, myself, has had a lot of concussions. Not like to see it, never like to see a guy go down with that. I was really hoping personally for his sake and healthy that he did come out right away. He didn't. He came back in. He scored off the corner. It was a very good header. Now, it was a very easy header. It was very poor defending from Ukraine on the set piece. Full credit to Baumgartner, but Ukraine have to be disappointed with themselves. They have lost this game 1-0, only generating 5 shot attempts while having a large percent of the possession relative to how much they often have. They finished with 51% simply because Austria just did not attack or hold possession anywhere near as much once they got that goal, as you could expect. And Ukraine just didn't feel comfortable with the ball. They didn't really press. They didn't really push as much as they probably needed to. I don't know, it's not in their nature, but you got to do what you got to do when you're down 1-0, and this is a potential go-home game, as now they have to hope that the points that they have is going to be enough to get them through into the knockout rounds as a third-place team, and with a -1 goal differential, it's probably not that likely. But Baumgartner did come off after his goal. I hope he is okay and there is nothing too serious with his injury. But it was a great header from him. Very poor defending from Ukraine. And they just didn't press enough. And they only have themselves to blame. They had poor defending on a set piece. And they didn't push enough offensively, in my opinion, to really threaten this Austria team. Austria always looked in control. And the Ukraine just didn't do enough to put themselves in a position to try and get a point or a win out of this game. A win wouldn't have gotten... a draw would not have got them second. But it would have put them in a very comfortable spot to get the third. They didn't even push for that. It just almost looked like they accepted the defeat, in my opinion. And it's too bad to see. But then the Dutch, a great act, giving a Netherlands jersey to Pandev before the game. His last game in international competition is 122nd for his country, scoring in the Euros. The first time he's been in a Euro or a major competition in his 20 years as an international player for North Macedonia. It was a great act for the Dutch and great to see Pandev be able to make this stage. But it was a comfortable win for the Dutch. 2 goals from Gino Wijnaldum, a goal and an assist from Depay. Allen getting on the pitch as well today for the Netherlands, with Weghorst getting the day off. Netherlands just looked comfortable again, and I think with the lit, they just continue to look better at the back than they have early on in the tournament when they didn't. And I think the Netherlands are going to be a tough team to beat in the round of 16. Now, surely they are going to, of course, still have concerns about their goalkeeping, as of course Sillissen is not at the tournament, but I still have no doubt that this Dutch team can still be very solid and still prove a threat to a lot of teams throughout this tournament. Now, with regards to Austria, Austria is going to face Italy, what is arguably one of, if not the strongest looking team in the tournament so far to start. And that's going to be tough. Austria have had some moments where they've looked good. They're going to have to defend a lot against this Italy team. They're definitely not going to hold possession, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for Austria. They're very strong at the middle. Their defense is solid and experienced with the likes of Hinteringer, David Alaba back there. Although David Alaba played a little more like a winger today, but he'll definitely play a bit more defensive against a team like Italy. They have good experience, good veteran leadership back there, and they're going to need it. They're going to have to stay very poised and be very disciplined in their defending against Italy. It's not impossible for them to win out of that. They could keep that 0-0 or 1-1 and try and do something in extra time with it. With the experience of Hinteringer and Dragovic back there, you have Alaba and Lehner. Then you have that midfield is so strong. Sabitzer, Grilic, Lamer, Schaller, Baumgartner, if he's back. There's so much quality in that midfield. You just really can't bet against them if they can be good on their day. They can try and prove an upset. I'd still favor Italy strongly. I think Austria can definitely give them a run for their money. Netherlands is going to end up playing a third place team now, so they're going to be looking comfortable as long as it's not the third place team on the group of death. I don't know how it is determined, to be completely honest, but they'll just be hoping it's not one of those group of death teams and go from there. But all in all, it was a fun group. Netherlands looked comfortable. Austria and Ukraine, we got to see them fight for second on the last day, which is always something you love to see. Northern Macedonia got a couple of goals in their first major tournament berth, with Pandev getting his goal, his first European tournament berth. It was great to see. And now we move on, quite literally in a half an hour from when I am saying this, to Group B having their conclusion. Group B is full of a whole bunch of different possibilities as to who will qualify. We have Denmark still on 0 points, who was a lot of people's potential dark horse for this tournament, me included. And of course, the travesty of Christian Eriksen happened. Thankfully, he is now stable, out of hospital, and recovering, and we are very thankful for that. But Finland and Russia are tied on 3 points, Denmark on 0. Finland could even jump up if they beat Belgium today. Belgium are playing a bit of a secondary lineup, and so I'm not saying it's likely, but they already beat Denmark. So who knows, maybe they can prove upset again. And with a Russia tie or loss, Finland could finish first in this group. So if you guys want to hear all about that, then be sure to check out after those games my thoughts on the video. And make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you do not miss it. If you guys enjoyed the video, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.